It is Tuesday night, and Tuesday night is the time when we talk about tile. It is the Tile Happy Hour, and I want to thank you for dropping in. I don't know where you're calling from, but we're happy to see you. Tonight is a special night. We are going to not only dig into the vast tile knowledge that I have, and if you don't know who I am, my name is Craig, but also, my good friend and co-host, John Tedesco, is here, and he has got a lot more tile knowledge than I do because he's twice as old as I am.
Yes, this is true. What's up, Craig? Happy Tuesday night.
It is Tuesday night. We made it through the weekend, which hopefully everybody had a great weekend. This is our first show after Thanksgiving, so hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and maybe you did some tile work over Thanksgiving, and now you're frustrated and got stuff torn up, and you're here looking for answers.
That's right. And you know what? This is our last episode of November, and December.
I thought we just said that like last week about October.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I just can't believe literally there's like a month left of the year. And here we are, November 28th, I think. Oh, what episode are we on? I don't know.
Episode number 36 is tonight's episode. And welcome, Michael from Franklin's Lake, New Jersey. I've still got a cough. What happened to John? Where'd you go? John left. John evidently did not pay his bill and his internet. He just totally cut off there. So Michael, if you're still on there, I need somebody to talk to. Wait a minute, there he is. He's back. John,
Wow.
What happened, John?
Yeah, I had to go to the
bathroom. Computer.
I don't know what I did. I hit something.
36 episodes in, and you shut your computer off. This is the first time that's ever happened. I don't know what's going on. It's like we're novices.
It was crazy. Yeah, so we were saying something about episode 30, and then I lost you.
Episode 36. I welcome Mike Restrepo from Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. Welcome, Nava Slaven. Evidently, she knows you. She says, "Hey, John." Hey, and if you're out there watching, I can see your comments come on the screen. Please jump in, talk to us, let us know what's going on in the tile world or just your world. We'll talk about anything. But
yeah,
right now we're live.
Well, not only are we live, we want to know where you are live from. So anyone who's watching this, please post right now where you're watching from, what city, town, state, what room, whatever, your state of mind, whatever you want. Just let us know you're out there.
Penitentiary.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're watching this from the penitentiary, one of Craig's pen pal buddies, he'll write you a letter soon and tell you all about the show, a little review. But I want to wish everyone happy hour. This is John Tedesco, co-host with my colleague and cohort, Craig Cahoon, every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. on Facebook, on X, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and maybe on TikTok. Is that happening?
I didn't cut the TikTok on. Sorry, all of our friends on TikTok. We got a special guest tonight, and since you are not live on TikTok, it gets a little crowded because they're only listening to me, and it's just strange. So I was like, well, I'm just going to focus on what's going on. Looks like we got a good audience. Rick Crane, good to see you. Our number one fan from Oceanside Glass. But if you're not watching live, because we know a lot of our viewership comes after hours or after we sign off live, we still want to hear from you. We love your comments. I think John's got a couple that came in from last week, and we still read them. We still respond to them about anything in the world about tile.
So let me just clarify something Craig said. She said if people watch it all hours of the night. So basically when someone's taken all the melatonin they can, had a few drinks, and it's like 3 a.m. and they can't sleep, they just go to our podcast and it'll put you right out. You're good.
It gets you ready. it gets you excited about tiling something, maybe, or LVT. We even do LVT, and we'll talk about anything in the tile. And we'll get in. Cheers, Keith Stevens, a special guest host that was here not too long ago when John was playing hooky.
That's right, and we still don't know where I was. I don't know where I was.
Well, I think there's a good possibility the votes online are coming in that your possible CIA agent. There was a track there that was leaning towards KGB, but I told them that you were too much of American for that.
Did you see that movie regarding the Gong Show where he was? They said the whole Gong Show where he really was a CIA agent and he was undercover, and that's why. Did you ever watch the Gong Show?
I bits and pieces of it. Remember, I'm not as old as you, John.
This is true. Well, back in the day, so Gong Show, anyway, they used to have these obscure like prizes of people would win a trip on a date or whatever. And they would go to maybe it wasn't the Gong Show. It was
are you talking about the dating? You don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know. Game? No, it was the Gong Show. Anyway, people won prizes. They went to these obscure places, and the reason was to get like Chuck Berry to be like in another country to be their escort, but meanwhile he was there doing spy work or something like that.
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay, well
cool.
That makes total sense. Well,
my facts are completely off, so don't follow.
Well, I'm not quoting you on that. You can't even run your computer tonight. So
let's stick to tile.
Let's stick to tile. And if you don't know what the tile happy hour is about, John, I just thought we had some news. I don't know if you want to tell our news, but we talk anything and everything about the tile industry. And that ranges from how tile is made, how tile is installed, how tile is sold. We'll do special episodes on waterproofing, special episodes on environmental things that we deal with in the tile industry.
Last tile, we had Rick on, right?
Yeah, we had Rick on. We talked about glass tile. We had Ron Nash from Laticrete. We talked about Laticrete and setting materials and kind of their history. So we are just tile nerds, and we kind of started out really talking about industry shows, and that was one of the things kind of spurred on and sparked the interest for us to do this.
Oh, I know.
On our own time, after hours, when our families are like, "Can we have dinner now?"
Yeah, exactly. And
I don't know if you want to tell that news, or we want to tease that news. I don't know.
Well, I had no idea. I was just as excited as everyone else because I had no idea where you're going, but now I know where you're going. So when we started this podcast, we said, you know what? Maybe next year, 2024, we could find out who the powers are in charge of coverings, and they have a podcast studio, and maybe next year, 2024, we'll be invited. Well, it turns out like right when our podcast just started, they invited us to broadcast live from Coverings, the best tile show in the world, in Orlando, Florida. And we actually were surprised to launch one of our first shows actually in Orlando. And that was pretty cool. We were live broadcasting from there, and they just invited us back. Shocked, but they did. So
we didn't ruin it. I guess we did okay. So they invited us back. So I'm excited about that.
Things. Yeah, they did send a list of the things that we can't say again.
Can't say. Don't do this again. The crazy thing is, or not the crazy thing, there's nothing crazy about this, what I'm getting ready to say, is it's in Atlanta this year. And Atlanta is it's a different show than Orlando. Orlando is huge and Atlanta is not, but it's got a little more community feel. But I'm excited about going there. This time we're actually kind of walking in like we know what we're doing. Even though last year we pretended like we knew what we're doing, we really didn't.
Did you notice on the emails, I was like giving them little hints. Hey, why don't we do this? And can we do this with the podcast studio and tweaking things? And they were listening a little. So that was good.
I think they were listening. Yeah. So, welcome back, Tom Holt. I've missed you. I don't know where you've been, but good to see you back. Tom, this is your episode. So, John, we kind of, we plan things out,
not
haphazardly. But we did have a guest that was scheduled for tonight, and kind of at the last minute, they had to cancel, and we're already working on rebooking. But I've had this idea in my head for a long time to have a live. Do you ever get up early on Saturday and Sunday mornings and listen to the live plant shows where they talk about how to plant your garden, and people call in and they go, well, if you want to plant honeysuckle this week, and they talk you through the process. You ever listen to those?
I remember years ago, I did some guy named, what's the guy's that got a strange, funny, nerdy name, and I did listen to that a couple times. I know what you're talking about. It's crazy enough.
Well, I've had this thought in my head is I want to do that for tile. Well, a friend of mine that I've known for a really long time has a YouTube channel, and he is a DIY guy. I mean, that's what he does for his YouTube channel. His professionally, he is a mechanical engineer, super smart. I've actually kind of gotten scared for his life. I hope he's got good life insurance, because I actually saw him working inside of his electrical panel in his house, and that scares me. But he and I comment back and forth. We kind of support each other on YouTube, and he's like, I got some tile projects. And so when our guest canceled, I said, John, let's bring him on and let's kind of roast his project and him and try to help him develop a project. So, and John didn't know what else to do, so he agreed.
Yeah, I barely even half of what you just said I just heard for the first time. So let's do it.
Well,
what makes him a DIY is because it's not.
First of all, it's DIYer, and that stands for do it yourself, John.
Okay, what did I say? What did I say?
You said DIYer.
Oh shit.
But let me get to a couple of comments before we bring him on. Tom got a new job. That's awesome. I hope it's in the tile industry. I'd love to know about it. And our good friend Dan's back. He loves a good roast. So, but Josh Anderson, we're going to bring him on. It is the first time he's done a podcast. So he looks weird, but we love him anyway. And so Josh, welcome to the Tile Happy Hour.
Oh man, I'm happy to be here. I'm already cracking up at listening to what you guys were just talking about. So I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this without crying from laughing. So,
hey Josh, what's happening? Good to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you guys. Oh, I'm know Craig. Good to meet you, John.
Welcome,
Josh. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your professional career, and then why you like to tinker.
Oh man, that's a whole box of worms. No, I've always liked to take stuff apart, like to tinker with stuff and fix it. And I'm an engineer by trade, so I'm a mechanical engineer. Kind of grew up in the footsteps of my dad. He was a mechanical engineer, and got that mindset of just, if it ain't broke, I'm gonna fix it till it is. Just like to fix stuff and see stuff get better, and also have a huge cheap streak in me. So I'm sure that'll come out in this somehow. But yeah,
cheap streak.
I like doing that stuff, and a lot of people.
You're frugal. There's nothing wrong with being frugal.
Frugal. I like it. That's the official term. Yeah.
Josh, what is mechanical engineer like? Is it a broad range of careers people can go into?
It really is. That's kind of why I went into it, because whenever I was first, looking at jobs, about to launch into college life, I was like, what can I get that's going to be the widest net? And mechanical engineering is that. The other ones are more, I mean, electrical engineering is kind of more specialized with electronics. I don't know. But with mechanical, you can kind of do a lot of different stuff, and you can find yourself in almost any industry as a mechanical engineer, because it just kind of breaks your spirit in a way that you're able to solve problems a lot easier, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and that's why.
So every industry has mechanical things, I guess, right?
And yeah, for sure. Stuff that's got you mix it with the eggnog.
That's pretty interesting.
Well, that's Dan. You know, he wants to know what are you mixing with the eggnog.
I figured found out it was a happy hour show. I figured I had to have some type of eggnog. It's actually just straight eggnog, so that might be more crazy than normal, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I think, Josh, I think the curiosity of that it fits your personality. I've known you a long time, and you've taken apart stuff and fixed stuff. And do you have? I mean, I saw you working on the interior of your air condition and inside your panel. I mean, is that legal or is that dangerous?
It's debatable, man. Yeah, I mean, lots of stuff is legal adjacent, right?
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, I feel like most industry people, if you know what you're doing, it's okay. If you don't, then it's bad.
Stay away.
Yeah, stay away. I mean, I'm not gonna do anything that warrants having to get, if it's got to be permitted or inspected, I'm probably going to call somebody to do that.
You have insurance on your home,
I'm not above farming out jobs as well. So.
Well, you have insurance, but if you have insurance and you do some things that need to be inspected and then it burns down, the insurance company's going to find a loophole, right?
That's true. That's true.
Got to be.
All right. Well, the reason you're here is I know you just recently moved back to Eastern North Carolina, and I don't know the status of your home, but I know it's an older home. And you mentioned to me some months ago, hey, let's figure out how to get updated. So tell us a little bit about your house and the age and all that other stuff. Give John some background. I can see his gears are turning already. He's thinking, okay, older home. He's going into that sales mode.
Yeah, this house has kind of got me legal schmeagle. These comments are killing me. This house has got me into a lot of projects pretty quickly because it was built in the 90s. It's around 90, I think 95. So there's a lot of that decor still around. And then obviously they did a lot of weird stuff in the 90s with, plumbing and fans and, not venting your exhaust fans in your bathroom to anywhere except for the attic, stuff like that. Like it just kind of some of the stuff that makes you kind of scratch your head. And
any popcorn ceilings, or that was 80s?
Oh yeah, that was actually you're right, man. That was the first project I did in this house.
Seems like that. I remember that. Yeah.
I did the whole upstairs. It was all popcorn. And it ripped out the carpet too, because obviously that was what I did. Just scraped it all down onto the ceiling, and the carpet had to
on
go.
the carpet. Roll it up, take it out.
Yep.
And so your house, it's a brick home. It's on a crawl space, correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. I did my research.
Scary crawl space, actually.
So the pictures you sent today are of your master bath. Is that right? Or is this the guest bath?
You're right. That's the master bath. Well, I think it might be a mixture of the two. So when we moved in, the worst room was that master bath. And I made a promise to my wife that within a year, that will be done. I'll take care of that. I got this, honey. And here we are, a year plus.
And you haven't started yet.
Haven't done anything.
All right, John. So you're coming in blind, John, and you're the tile guy in the showroom. You want to see the pictures first, or what do you want? What questions do you have? Where should Josh, and we're going to assume Bethany's here, where should Josh and Bethany begin?
Well, I'll definitely want to see the pictures, but I want to know what's the end game, like what's the goal?
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question. Are you keeping the same structure, or do you want to completely blow out the room and start over?
So due to how the shower is oriented, I think I got two options. I'm going to either blow it out all the way and make it a closet, and then take where my tub is and build that as a shower surround. It's about double the size of the shower enclosure now. Or the way the shower is made, it's a cave. It looks like you're Indiana Jones and you're about to go down that tunnel of something. It's got like a low ceiling and stuff. So I'm trying to convince my wife that I could leave the shower where it is and dig out that ceiling, make it, higher, so it doesn't look like you're in a cave anymore. And then maybe some correct choices on the tile could make it look a lot better.
Do you know if that arch is there just for aesthetics, like they thought it was a good idea, or is there something going on up there?
I think it's because they put a can light in there, and it was one of those, 90s can lights, so it's this big,
Oh wow!
So you lost this much
All right.
headroom.
So I'm gonna give John. So
Pictures.
what we know so far is Josh is behind schedule, which is where every tile project starts.
Where
behind-
every husband starts. Go ahead.
Well, yes, yeah. To paint with a broader brush, yes. So we've got this bathroom that we want to make into a master suite, which was a 90s. I mean, John, you tell me what you think. It looks like a 90s track home shower.
So, those are 6x6, I think. I don't think those are 4x4s.
I don't know
if you want.
I think they're 4x4s. Because I think on the edge.
No,
now
those are like 10.
Picture
that's 60 inches wide, probably that space, maybe at the most.
No, I think that's 3 feet wide. I bet that's when you stand in there to shower, you hit all the walls, don't you, Josh?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah. I just looked at the smaller picture. I see it's so those are 4 1/4 then, I guess. Love that towel bar.
And I just realized that was in there. Like, I literally just snapped the pictures. I'm sure I'm going to be very embarrassed on all the pictures, but yeah, that's a piece of copper jammed in a piece of PEX and stuck between there. Because
wow,
the first day I was there, I think I've like leaned. It was one of those like see-through
acrylic
plastic squares between there, and I just leaned against it and it snapped in half. So
yeah, well. It looks like Craig. We talked about this last week. It looks like Lenape or Apple Creek hollow.
Yeah, that's exactly what was so funny. John, we talked about that last week. We talked about shower accessories, and yes, those Apple Creek shower rod holders. What was so hilarious is one of the YouTubers I watch is a travel YouTuber. They were traveling through Apple Creek, New Jersey.
No way.
Yeah. And I was like, Leanne, we just talked about that. And she didn't, of course, she didn't listen to our podcast, so she didn't know what I was talking about. But John, what is the first thing that you see in this demo that is going to be a mess?
Well,
Dan says a bottle of whiskey for the second shelf is what we need to get this going.
So it looks like it's a little hard to see, but it looks like there's a soffit there, and I'm wondering. But the nature of that trim, it almost could that be a mud job on that wall?
I think it is. That was the first thing that stood out to me.
Are you talking about
because
like on the left side?
Because if you look at the cap, this is a mud cap. Tom, you know what I'm talking about here. It's
Josh, if you look at the picture of the rounded edge where
see how it wraps the corner.
The corner. If to a tile nerd, that's a telling sign of you need to use that trim because of the scenario behind it, and because it's kind of wide. It kind of tells us there's some cement behind there instead of just like thin glue or something to that effect. Craig, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I that was the first thing I thought when I saw this picture, is that I bet this shower probably has, I don't know if it has a lead pan, but it probably has a chloraloid pan. And I would bet it is mud floors, mud walls all the way around to the outside.
So let's bring this down to like
we got a
novice level. Yeah. Basically, Josh, you're screwed.
Good? Is that
no,
bad?
it's bad. No, it's good.
It's bad.
It's good because you probably don't have a leak. Like you're probably changing it because you just need an update. But
that's
it's probably in good shape, which makes it difficult. And that's one of the strange things about the tile industry, is that if you get a good quality tile and you install it in a really nice way, it has longevity. It doesn't have like a planned obsolescence like other things like a car or a dishwasher or a refrigerator, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting in the tile world, like you're not forced to rip it out and do it over, until you just can't, till it's close to getting the divorce. And then you're like, all right, we got to do it.
So, Josh, tell me, what is on the opposite side of this wall? Is that where your tub is?
So, to the left or through the wall straight?
To the left.
So yeah, to the left. I should have snapped you a picture of the tub, but yeah, I'd say it's a tub that's tiled in on one side, kind of. It's like a garden tub, so it's kind of tiled in on one side, and it's probably double this size.
Sure, yeah. So there is, so what you have going on, and here's the demo for this is going to be a nightmare.
Oh, great.
So let's just start there. It's this tile, just based on the pictures that you sent.
I'm ready.
You're ready. You got your.
I bought the tools already.
You need that. You need about 7 more of those and 4 more people. And I'm out of town that weekend.
A couple of these.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But what's going on is this was done well. I've looked at your pictures. There's not a lot of damage and there's not a lot of cracking of the tile, which means that it's going to be hard to uninstall.
Yeah. Now, Josh, the tile itself is actually, compared to today's standards, is a very soft tile. So the ceramic tile that's glued to that wall, cemented to that wall, is so not strong compared to like porcelains that are out now. So the demoing of the tile part is somewhat easy, but now of course it's fused to the wall. It's all together now. But what we're alluding to is like the structure behind it. I mean, this is what everyone needs to do when you're ripping out a bathroom. If a bathroom is failing in many ways and leaking and crumbling and grout coming out, that's a bad thing. But the good thing is maybe the rip out's a little easier because the guy didn't do a good job in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you've enjoyed, well, how long are you in this house now?
I've been in here 1 year. So,
got it.
And he's not enjoyed any part of it because I guarantee you,
does not use this shower at all. It's
hard.
It's my personal shower, so I don't know if that's a pro or a con, but
it's hard to enjoy it with that red towel bar. I can't get my eyes off of that thing.
Yep. She's gonna come with for that picture.
Yeah. Because what's going to happen is when you start taking off the tile, there's a mud backing behind that. And that's not the hard part, but the mud backing has a lathe, which is a metal mesh sandwiched into the mortar. And that is screwed to the studs or a board. So what's going to happen is when you start demoing the tile, this stuff is all going to be like an accordion of concrete. And it's going to be really difficult to maneuver around. I would suggest a Sawzall with a lot of concrete blades is going to help. But I think, and John, you're the showroom guy. I think to update the area, you need to open that whole thing up, especially since your tub is right there, and have a tub shower combo, or you could do a tub delete, even though some people like to keep the tub.
Yeah. I would consider, not seeing the floor plan. I would say, make it much bigger. And what do you want? A separate tub and shower still, or do you want to just blow it up and make it one big?
Undecided. I think if we can swap the tub or get rid of the tub and get a bigger enclosure, we'd probably go for that. We have a tub in the kids' room, so we've got the one. I understand getting rid of all tubs is not a good idea, just in case for reselling, but we still have one. That's what's there now is a jacuzzi tub, and that's the reason it's not being used. It was actually leaking, so that one's completely out of commission. So it's getting demoed no matter what. But maybe it makes sense.
I would. I mean, the new thing now is open it all up and have glass, a glass enclosure, and if you don't want to put a tub back, you don't have to. But from looking at that picture, you could blow out the wall across from the shower to where you're. I'm pointing at it, but you can't see me pointing at it. Blow out that wall completely and open up that whole area. You know, I know you sent me pictures of the floor tile from the shower, but there's floor tile in the actual bathroom too. All correct?
That's right. So that's in the shower. Oh gosh.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Here. Let me. Yeah. That's the floor tile.
So that is the floor tile. That was one of the things I was like, you know, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like when we came in, we saw that,
This is
and I'm
the
like,
this is
oh
the
my
ugly.
gosh.
This is when remember that cleaning and maintenance show we did. We need to send him a copy of that.
Yeah. Well,
This
that
is
looks like it's
honestly-
rust of some sort, right?
It
I mean,
is.
that's yeah.
That's
But
right.
I
It's
guarantee
right
you,
below the,
it is the rust. It is where
coming from
the
underneath. It's coming through the grout from underneath.
no, nope. It is the bolt from the toilet is rusting out and dripping onto the tile. Am I right?
Got it. That was it. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Wow.
And that toilet's getting demoed too. So yeah, I mean I just
Yeah.
wanted to show this is what I'm dealing with. But what's funny is I googled, you know, how to get rust out of tile, and it was like use, you know, baking soda. So tried that.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything. Tried Clorox gel, didn't do anything. And I'm just like, all right, this thing's gonna die. So it's
Yeah. Well, this tile, I remember this tile. It was a Dow Tile AO product, and Tom, the home is 1995. This was one of those tiles that they created that it's on the same body as a wall tile, but yet it's got a special glaze on it that you can put on the floor tile. And they made it in hexagon, they made it in 6x6, and they made it in 4x4. And it was difficult to clean because when they glazed it with this bumpy surface. I don't know if they just put extra glaze on it, and then it was not real shiny. So it did have some absorptivity, if that's a word.
That's not a word, but anyway, we know what you're talking about. So Craig, so American Olean was called Crystalline, and Dow Tile is called Crystal Tex.
You're exactly right. I couldn't think of the name of it. That's exactly right.
And it's like an orange peel texture, so it adds some slip resistance, but it still had some patina to it, so it didn't look too commercial, and it was an upgrade from like a porcelain mosaic.
Yeah,
right?
Standard semi-gloss or porcelain mosaic.
And
yep.
It on that picture to the left is like the bumpiness.
Yep, that's the bump. Yep, the orange peel that you see at that top left-hand corner. And what's crazy is this style tile has kind of come back around, hasn't it, John?
Well, hexagons have made a strong comeback. Textured,
size.
Yeah, it definitely has come. And what's not back is that round top cove base. That's out. We're not using the cove base. You see, Josh, on the bottom, between the wall and the floor, there's like a little curve that kind of curves down. It's a nice feature. It's called it's like a sanitary cove base.
S3419 is the part number.
Yes, S3419
or 3619. I can't tell if it's 6x6 or 4x4.
I
John just got an email.
I just got an alert that I need to plug in, so I need to get some juice. Don't go anywhere.
So that's that is yeah. So I got a couple of questions here. Yes, Tom, I believe it is a mud job.
Can you keep going?
That's what the rum does to Of course, Dan. What was your question?
I was gonna say, what does the mud mean?
The mud is kind of what I was talking about. It's got you've got your studs of your wall, which you know, and then it either has a backer board on it or it may have that laths directly on there, and then they put wet mud, is what we call it. It's just a concrete mixture on the they put wet mud on the wall, and I would bet the floor is probably not mud.
Yeah, how far up does it normally go?
It'll be that entire shower.
Okay, gotcha.
Tom or anybody listening online, I would think 1995. It's probably a cement board floor. I bet it's not a mud floor, but it probably is a mud wall. That's just my bet. But cement board is hard to remove also. But I would definitely if obviously I think you are probably going to stay here for a while, and your wife wants to enjoy it. I think it's worth tearing out the whole bathroom, opening up that whole shower, and having a retreat.
Yeah. Well, Josh, for 1,000%, there's no way of update. I mean, the only way to update the bathroom is if you figured something to clean the floor and change the vanity out, or color the grout. But you need to gut the whole thing, and if you do gut the whole thing, just be prepared, for the work that's involved, the timing, the budget, and just be prepared. If you want to change plumbing around, be prepared for the plumbing cost. But you're going to do it right. You want to enjoy it. Back to one of the first conversations we had regarding a tub and not non-tub. I know most adults never take, baths. So you're in the shower.
I took a bath today at 2:00.
Wow.
I'm just telling you. You can ask my wife. I just like taking a bath. I don't know why. My wife calls it soap soup.
So hopefully Craig's not going to buy your house, because then he's going to be upset you don't have a tub. But the thing is, Josh, most people want a big shower. If there's 2 people using the bath, they're using a shower at least twice a day, if not more. Right. You want elbow room. You want maybe a bench. You maybe want somewhere. Some people want like a little ledge where someone could shave their legs, and they put these little features, these little corner soap dishes, so you don't have to have all the soap out in the middle. You can have it in the corners, and so there's a lot of quality of life things I think that you can do. So absolutely, I'd be all in, meaning rip it out, gut it out, and start from scratch, and that's definitely the way to go. And Craig talked about be prepared really seriously. Get some really good gloves, because you don't want rusted wire lath cutting through your hands when you're ripping around the walls. Sawzall definitely important, so you can cut through it. Craig, is there such a thing of a mud job without the lath, or is that not possible?
There is. Depending on what's going on, a lot of times on the floor, if it's less than 1.25 inches, you don't have to have any sort of lath. On the wall, not really. I mean, you can do a scratch coat and then a mud coat, but it's very thin. I think when you're doing it that way, odds of having the 4200 mud cap are pretty small. Let's see. I was trying to pull up. I had and so I don't know why this is so small to see, but
so that code base was 3419T, I believe, which means round top, I believe.
That is right. 3419T does mean round top. I don't know why it's not showing what I have on my screen.
I was just going to ask, going back with a more modern waterproofing or whatever, what would you guys recommend for underneath the tile? Or, what method is
that's a Craig favorite? That's a Craig question for sure. And I'm just going to start off with this: is once you decide you're going to rip everything out, the most important thing is you want this bathroom to last, the new bathroom, forever, until you or the next owner just wants to rip it out. And we call them systems, which is kind of just different ways to get a really good substrate to have this shower completely waterproof. And some systems are very similar. Some systems are different, but they all want to accomplish the same goal. And some of them, Craig may recommend, depending on your skill level, like which system is better and less. So, Craig, this is all you.
Yeah. Well, our comments are blowing up a little bit. So let's start here. Josh, I know you said you're cheap, and I said you're frugal. But Tom asked, what's your budget? Are you planning on doing it yourself? I don't know. We didn't even ask that question, I don't think.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I'm good with the demo, because I think that will be fun, except for that laugh part. I don't know about that.
He's younger than we are, John.
But yeah, I like to tear stuff apart, and there's the John mentioned the plumbing part. I'm pretty good with supply plumbing. I will probably hire for drain plumbing to make sure that is right.
Yeah.
But as far as doing all the carpentry to get everything set up right and laying the waterproofing, I want to do that. The tiling itself, I know, is more of, it's kind of like drywall, where you need to be good
There's some
at
artistry
it,
in it.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
And if there's one, one little tile that's a little crooked, might not ever live again. So I probably will end up paying someone to do the tile itself, but product selection is where I'm kind of wanting some input too. Should I go
Okay.
large format tile? Should I go,
Right.
Well, I don't know. That's where I'm like, I have no idea, and that's, I'm not sure.
Well, so Tom, to answer your question, he's trying not to have a budget. He's trying to do it on the cheap. So,
okay,
we're figuring that out now. Tom, I don't know if you want to drive up from Florida, and do it. Maybe he's offering. But I will say, John, or Josh, to save your marriage, Nava, which I don't know Nava, but she knows John. She's offering to send you a free bathroom plan design. So,
all right. So, Josh, I am not kidding here. Nava is literally one of the top designers in New York, designing kitchens and bathrooms. I am not kidding you. And as far as I know, it's the first time she's joined the show, and maybe she's been before. Maybe I saw her name once before. But if she literally is offering that as my friend, I would take that. I would take her up. Nava, thank you so much. It's very kind of you.
That's awesome, Nava. Yeah, we'll get John to connect the two of you. And hey, we'll start with a design. Dan wants you to have a bar in there, so.
They do
but
need that.
let's talk seriously for a minute. Once you do your demo, and I know you're capable of doing that, I think somebody said, I don't know who said it. Oh, Dan said, send your wife on a trip when you do your demo. So send her away for the week, not the weekend. You heard me right. The week, and you can do that demo, and then we can decide how you go from there, the substrate, all that other things. I've got some great things that I'd love to help you out with and help you get to where you're going. The substrate's critical. One of the crappy things about some of the older homes is I don't think they did a great job of stiffening up the floor. So sometimes the floor is a little soft. And I can talk nerdy terms with you because you're an engineer, but your floor has to have a L over 360 to be stable for porcelain tile. If you upgrade to stone tile, it's got to be L over 720, and that means all across the floor, no soft spots. And once we get that fixed, everything else is pretty easy. The waterproofing, all those other things are pretty similar. Once you and Nava, your New York designer, get squared away, the technical details of that are pretty simple. And I will say, I'll go ahead and plug TileBar. We've got some great tools at tilebar.com that can help you kind of design and plan, taking Nava's suggestions and kind of bringing that to life, even as far as vanities and shower doors and all those things. Little plug for tilebar.com. But those things are cool. I agree with you. Supply plumbing is easy. The drainage, I wouldn't be too scared of it, but if you're nervous about it, get somebody that knows what they're doing to do it. The good thing is they make some tile systems now that you can do the drain really simply, and I can get you some tutorials on that.
That'd be great.
I like, if you're going to be demoing it and spending your time on it, your time is valuable, but it's good. That's where you can contribute to this project and save the money per se in getting the right product, hiring the right tile installer, because that's so important. And all the things that Craig's going to work with you on, that's behind the scenes, and that's important. That's ultimately, very important, but it's kind of a given. That's where we're going to be. Is going to have a nice sealed, secured bones to the bathroom, a good layout. Maybe Nava can help you with that. And then, well,
John, before you move on,
yeah,
you're talking about quality of personnel. I got something I want to show you.
Yeah, sure.
I know we just finished Halloween, but this is not paranormal activity. I talk about it a lot. Lack of movement joints. Biggest failure in our industry. This video shows what happens when you have something that doesn't want to move and the building around it moves. There is a failure. Always use movement joints. TCNA tells you where and when, EJ171. Note it. Do it, believe it. If you don't, you could hear these ghosts in the middle of the night and ruin your tile and have to pay for a replacement. Scary, huh?
Wow. You just scared Josh away from doing this job.
Yeah. So Josh, as an engineer
right now, I don't even know what those are.
Yeah, as an engineer, you know about thermal activity and thermal dynamics. And that video is one of the examples of how someone set a tile job incorrectly. The temperature changed in the building and the building moved around the tile, and it just blew the tile off the floor. And that with all the cameras now and security footage, we're getting some really cool videos. But can you imagine coming home after work and you go up to your condo at night and all of your tile has jumped off the floor? It's like,
you know, it's even
what
scary
happened?
that is being home when that happens and hearing that going on. Talk about paranormal. Craig, what you don't know, what you don't know what you just did. You just showed a video that as you're playing it, I'm like, that's the main question I got on Instagram the other day. Gene Goldsmith, who's a New York guy, he's president at Timely Signs. He's a sign geek, not a tile geek. He's a sign geek, and he provides all sorts of signs for businesses. And he asked the question: explain what a movement joint to us DIY guys, please. So he must have listened to a previous show, because you mentioned movement joints last time.
I talk about it all the time, and it's because it is the biggest failure in our industry. And sometimes it's not, most of the times it's not as dramatic as what I showed on that video. Most of the time it's just a cracked grout joint or a cracked tile. But the basics of a movement joint is because of thermal dynamics or thermal activity, everything moves and everything expands and contracts. But substrates and buildings expand and contract at a different rate than the tile does. So therefore, you have to give it somewhere to move. And TCNA kind of not dictates, but gives you suggestions of where to put soft joints. And that's what we call them. We try to make them fall in grout joints. So we leave the grout out and we put a soft joint in. Normally that's in an acrylic caulk or a silicone caulk. And for most DIYers, the best thing to do is you always leave your perimeter of your room open. So, John, when you're tiling the bathroom, you don't tile it wall to wall. You leave that last joint between the tile and your wood base open, and your shoe molding will cover it. And that normally protects a small enough room enough for that shifting. Once you get to a larger size room, then you have to start putting them in the middle. Now, where I see most of the failures are wall tile. People don't put the movement joints in the wall tile that they need. They'll install a backsplash directly on their granite countertop with no joint between the granite countertop and their tile, and it cracks. You've got to space that tile up and put a soft joint there, because little Timmy's going to get the Golden Crisps off this top shelf and he's going to jump on the counter. And when that counter moves, it's going to crack your tile. So the rule of thumb to think about is the perimeter of your room, any change in material. So going from wood to tile, granite to tile to metal, and any change in plane. So that's going from a vertical installation to a horizontal installation, or going from one wall to another wall. All of those different scenarios are places where you need a movement joint. Hopefully that answers his question.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's hopefully Gene's watching, and if he's not, I'll alert him that we answered his question here live on
Live.
Tile
That's
Happy
right.
Hour.
live on the Tile Happy Hour.
Did you ever see that meme? You guys mentioned the bar. The guy, there was a picture and a guy says, "My doctor said I'm getting older now. You should install a bar in your shower." And the guy showed his shower niche with all different like vodka bottles and stuff like that.
I think that was Dan. Dan, all he has talked about is putting a bar in Josh's thing.
Fridge. I'll take a mini.
Nava thanks you for the kind. Yeah, Nava thanks you.
Well, it's true. I mean, she deserves. She's an icon in the industry.
Sorry, I had a cough.
So I would say this. So Nava is very gracious and can help you with a floor plan, and I'm sure there's no strings attached. But there are designers, and possibly Nava could do this also. Is she can help you with a rough layout. Then you could hire a designer who does things virtually. Like designers go to our website, look at your floor plan, and can work with you and give you some kind of storyboard digitally, as if you were sitting in the same room together. So I see a lot of designers doing work nationally, internationally, where literally we can have samples sent to the designer's house, send samples to the homeowner's house, and they can have a meeting on Zoom or and literally get things done. So I would highly recommend that you talk about a professional approach to the installation and a professional approach to the design, because it's really super important.
Yeah, and I think as with anything that you probably deal with day in and day out, Josh, is having an end goal before you start is critical. Making sure your wife has bought into what's going on, number one, and then knowing what's going.
I told me what to do, and then it's all good.
Okay, crap. So now I'm in trouble.
She needs it to be from a pro, so there we go.
Okay, tell her John Tedesco said to do this.
His name is John.
But yeah, having that plan in place, and then the part I struggle with is the part that John's good at is picking out the tile. I don't know what goes together. I can't match my clothes. I mean, so all that stuff like that. But there's so many different ways around it, and the cool thing is it can be fun, but it can be frustrating. So you got to balance that. But I know you're not shy to any hard work. I've seen the work you've done. But I think it's going to be a great project, and I look forward to.
I'm going to send you guys updates as I go through and do it, and questions.
Absolutely, we get to have like a monthly check-in with you to say, okay, what's going on this month? Where are you? How far have you done? You know what,
Craig? There is one thing when you're. I'm just looking something up in the meantime.
Okay.
When you're preparing the room for the professional installer to come in, you have to just make sure that you committed to giving him a substrate that they can do a good job. Some installers will come in and say, I'm not doing this room because how it's going to look in the end is completely determined by the substrate. So if you have a crappy substrate, a good tile guy could play with it and work with it. It could take him more time so you really need to make sure you get that done. So the guy's going to come in and say, okay, this is a good job. I have confidence I'm going to come in and give the job that I'm happy with. And he wants you to be happy. But most of these guys want to make sure that their signatures on this. And it definitely is.
Substrate is critical. Substrate is everything. Tile as resilient as it is, it still mirrors what goes on underneath it, which is which is critical.
Well, you can't tile a putt-putt golf course, you mean?
Right.
So
you can, it just won't look good. Don't when you do that, don't complain about irregular grout joints.
This is true.
Yeah. One of the pictures I sent, I don't know if it comes through on there, but one of the problems that we noticed, I mean, other than it just looking horrible everywhere, but had some cracked grout joints, and then it had some, that bottom right one, you can kind of see that the floor itself, if I put a marble on that middle tile, it would roll down one of those directions. So it's got like a big bow in it. And I'm guessing that one of those grout joints had failed, and it kind of got down into the wood below it and is caused
Yeah.
it to kind of bubble up.
I think that's why Craig before said he believes the floor is not a mud job because it would lath because it's probably less prone to do what it's doing. Is that what
a lot of houses in the 90s that I've seen, and I've done some renovations in my time. A lot of their floors were soft. They did not take into account because, I mean, one of the original TCNA methods was how to install tile over a wood floor, and it always required 2 layers of plywood. I never saw that.
And never thin setting, I think the plywood together and screw it down. Like nobody followed those instructions.
They would put 1 layer of plywood on it and a layer of cement board. And cement board is not structurally sound. It gives you a good something to bond it to, but it has no tensile strength. So therefore, if the floor is soft, it's just going to bounce with the floor.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, when you pop those tiles, those floor tiles, I know Craig and I were tile nerding out talking about crystalline and crystal tex. I'm gonna put my money on something. The 2 seconds that I saw that finish, I'm gonna say that was a crystal tex, which was a little more muted than crystalline. And so just by that quick picture, I could almost see the texture, the
so you want him to send you a piece of the tile?
No, just flip it over. When you pop it up, flip it over. I want to see if there's a brand on the back.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they normally have something like a stamp or something?
Yeah, it may say Dow Tile or American AO on the back.
AO on the back of it.
Yeah, so
okay. Yeah, I'll look for it, man.
Yeah, that would be cool. Hey, I want to thank you for coming on. I think this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you know what? I see a future episode to see what's going on here. We can kind of document
it happen. Yeah.
Life and times of Josh. Not Nava from the Creative Edge. Her company's in Roslyn, New York. So thank you, Nava, for joining in, and everyone else for joining in, letting us know that you're out there, chiming in, giving us some feedback, and we'd love to see everyone follow along. This is almost like this could be the beginning of some kind of, I mean, we've seen pretty stupid shows on TV, right? Where they're following people around.
Yeah.
This could be the pilot.
Yeah.
And I can add as much stupid as you want.
Yeah. I love Josh that you jumped on and you're willing to be vulnerable with us on our, kind of our inaugural on, we didn't roast you, but trying to help out and do all those things. I think it's great. Thanks everybody for I love all the comments chiming in. Dan, please, nobody is going to drink tonight. Sorry. But if you enjoyed seeing Josh, Josh does all sorts of crazy repairs. He built a fire pit out of a washing machine, all kinds of things.
A lot of DIY.
DIY, or as John says, DYI.
Oh, all right. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I know we're up to 9 o'clock. Craig, I'm going to challenge you. When we go back and listen to this episode, the last time that we said DIY, you said DYI.
I don't think so.
I think you did. I'm putting my money on that.
Okay.
DYI, what would that be? Do yourself in?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That sounds exactly right.
Do yourself in on the next episode of the Tile Bachelor featuring Josh.
He's not a bachelor, but anyway,
he's a tile bachelor.
Obviously, I got his account down there. Give him a follow. He's a fun follow, and follow along in this stuff. He's a smart dude. I know his bathroom's gonna look amazing. Nava, thank you for being a part of the conversation. Tom, Daniel, Rick, all those others that have joined in. Josh, thanks again. We look forward to seeing the progress.
Thank you, Tile Pros.
Yeah, it's been fun. Hey, so Josh of All Trades, love the name of your YouTube channel. That's fun. I'm going to subscribe. Everybody go to YouTube, find him, subscribe, hit the little bell so you can get an alert when he comes on, and you could follow along the process. 2024 is the year of a new bathroom for Josh and his wife. And thanks, everybody, for watching. This is John Tedisco. I'd like to wish you peace, health, and happiness.
All right, John. Josh, I'm going to cut you off. We'll hang out right there. But yeah, thanks, John. That was fun. That was a great conversation. And if you're finding us on a replay, hey, drop us a note anyway. We still want to hear from you. We still want to see what questions you have. Give Josh a follow. Hey, follow John and I on our many channels that we have. And you can always see what's going on with us in the world of tile. If you have tile questions, I guarantee you one of us can answer it, or we can at least find the answer. And I want us to keep always learning together, and let's tile the world.